Yeah. I always feel like you can't hear me whenever I put this on my chest. Like, because I feel like I always talk like this, so it always...
Oh, because yours comes with like the built-in windshield?
And I just got a big old...
Yeah, that's your windshield. Oh, wow. Okay.
Disrespectful. Built-in windshield. What is this?
I don't think that's what it's at. Is that
Woo!
I don't know what it's actually called. Anyway.
Better. I like better. It's better. All right. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Let you a clap.
Welcome to the Trap House with Trap.
All right, let's start this over. What are we doing? Yeah, I gotta do it. Oh my.
All right.
All right.
What's up, guys? It's been a while. I missed y'all. I mean, we've spoken
Yeah.
since the last pod, but
Yeah, consistently.
we haven't spoken
We haven't
since the
sat
last
together in fellowships in a while, so.
pod. You back though.
Welcome back to Not That Name. We do need a name though. Hey,
Help us.
I've also, you know what I've been working on, the Ministry Machine.
Mm-hmm.
You
Okay.
want to make that this, or you want to hop on the Ministry Machine, or we want to make it something else, or do you have another name?
Let's roll with that.
All right. Until further notice, or
That's what it is. The ministry machine. Ministry machine.
boom.
Double M.
Yeah. the double.
M squared.
Yeah. Not Maybach music. All right. Yeah. So today, guys, since we don't have a thematic. We do have a theme, but it's not like based off of like a holiday or anything like that. So we're going to start getting into topics that we're trying to come into. What did I do?
I just had a thought in my head, and it was just when you know how the scripture says to take every thought captive.
Yeah.
I caught it. I caught it. Guys, don't worry about it. I caught it. We're good. Nothing to do with you.
I want to know now.
Yeah, I'll tell you after.
Okay, that's fair enough. Also, shout out to my boy for rocking the Mission Caliber Faith Gear.
Come on, epic.
Everyday people in Christ. What I'm wearing is not on the set thing yet, because also it wouldn't be this low under my titty if I did that.
You can't say that.
I can't say titty. That's one of those, like the P word I used. Okay. It shouldn't be this far down, but yeah, follow Jesus. We'll might come back around on that. Anywho.
Did you learn that from your last message? Where you can't say...
See, this is why. If I haven't, I
say-
need to get back preaching a little bit more, obviously.
You can't say the body part N-word, not the N-word, the body part N-word, which is
that. Yeah,
right?
I was
You can't say that.
Yeah, that's true.
But then you decided not to say that. You said the whole thing this time. What is really going on with you, sir? That's my job, not yours. That's my job.
I mean, I just feel like anatomy. I always teach. We're teaching our girls that you can't say stuff like they like saying like butt. We're like, hey, that's not a joke thing. But if you're talking about your actual butt, we're not saying it's a bad word. But we're not gonna go around and be like, oh, look at that butt, like talking about somebody. So yeah. So I feel like if I'm specifically talking about an area, granted, we don't need to talk about this at all. So even if
it's better words.
Yeah, or just we can just say private area if we're talking about.
There we go.
Is this a private area for men? I guess
it's not. But that should be a topic one day, because it is for the ladies, but it's not for the guys. Even though it's the same thing, but not really. I don't know. It's America.
This isn't the topic for the record.
How did we get here? What is happening right now? Right.
So now you've noticed a little bit of how our conversations usually tend to go. What we're going to talk about is today's church. And we have 3 different topics that are going to talk about what's going on in the church, different aspects of looking at it from the area of the pulpit, the area of just the current technology, and how these things mesh together. Yeah. So the first topic is, Trav, you brought this topic up, so I'm going to let you go into it.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about being the pastor of a megachurch. And the whole thing started, I was on YouTube and I saw a clip. It was a comedian, John Crist, I believe his name is. He was doing, basically he made a video defending megachurch pastors, right? Because typically people complain about them because, you know, fill in the blank. But he was like, he made a video defending them. And I was like, it's just an interesting perspective. So
Yeah.
so today we're actually going to talk. One of the topics we're going to talk about is the pros and cons. And I guess we'll go back and forth with our list like we usually do.
Right.
And it might be a pro or a con that you say. What's the pros and cons of being the pastor of a megachurch?
Okay.
All right. So why don't you go first, and then I have a feeling a lot of our stuff is gonna intertwine, but you go first, and I'll follow up.
Okay. Since I did just do the issues, but I do have an idea of the positives.
Okay.
So I'm
not gonna lie. I think I only did issues too, but we'll see
okay. I was about to say. So I'm spit. Any pros I have for this, I'm spitballing right now.
Same.
So a pro I can see is that you reach more people. Granted, limited churches, even if at capacity, they're nowhere in comparison to the arena style capacity of a mega church. So you get to reach that environment, not just in, I don't know the word for it, but it's not the same as being on Zoom or being on the internet, YouTube, where you can get more people, but it's a different feeling of being there. Just like everyone knows, it's a different feeling of being at a game versus watching it on TV. So I think that is a good pro for a mega church. Do you have one?
I'm gonna go ahead and piggyback off of you. I agree with that because I think with the gospel. So here's the thing: if you have a message, you want to get the message to as many people as possible. Right. So if I'm advertising an iPhone, I want as many people as possible to see and to know that there's a new iPhone coming out.
Yeah.
And I want as many people as possible to buy one.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. So if I'm preaching the gospel, the good news of Jesus Christ, I want as many people as possible to hear it and have the opportunity to respond.
Yeah.
So theoretically, if you are a pastor, not saying that your goal is to have a mega church, but your goal is to get the message to as many people as possible.
Right.
So if you happen to start a ministry and for whatever reason, it blows up and you happen to have a lot of members, whether physically in the building or even virtually streaming, whatever it is, you have the opportunity to preach the gospel to more people, which is good.
It's funny you use the iPhone thing because you also made me think about when tech companies are introducing new iPhones. Of course, they do the whole media thing where they launch it, but I've seen other influencers who deal with tech, review tech. They have expos where they allow those people to come and get personal experience with it. So they're like the first person to reach it. So it's like, wow, in that same aspect, everyone gets to see the launch on YouTube and stuff. But there's a select people that get to go and experience it. And I'm sure these people enjoy more being there than just saying, oh, I'm a part of everybody who sees it at this certain time.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. All right. So we gave you the pros. Yeah. Let's get to the cons.
Right. I was like, that's it.
Aggressive shift change. What you got for a con for us?
The first thing, it's funny, this kind of goes into it. No matter of fact, I'm going to go into relating, segueing what we just talked about as far as being able to reach everybody. The con of that is the risk of not building a body as being like a community, a Christian community, but you're building a membership. So instead, it's difficult for having that mass amount of people. It's going to be difficult to be able to personally interact with people. Sometimes we lose the point of the church is supposed to be a body, and the body is supposed to be well interconnected. We're supposed to know one another, fellowship with one another. Us as one body should be like one family. And that's hard to do if you got thousands of people. And most likely, I can't say what any mega pastor or whatever does, but it's going to be difficult for them to reach everybody. Mm-hmm. And then I think sometimes fellowship gets lost for, my term, fellowship. Because you want to be there. Again, the experience is better to be there than to see it. Yeah. But if that's it, that's all you're getting, you're losing a whole lot of what this church is meant to be.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so I'm not going to comment too much on what you say, only because I feel like everything we say is going to piggyback well off each other. Yeah. So one of mine is fame. Like if you become, if you're the pastor of a church, whether you mean to or not, because some mega church pastors, this was like their goal. Like they may have seen someone else and was like, ooh, I want that, right? So their goal might have been to have a big church. Other people, it could have been a viral moment or just for whatever reason, people started coming to church, and it's like I didn't plan to have a church with 2,000 people. It just happened.
Yeah.
Right. But either way, it turns into a focus on you and not him.
Right.
Right. So I heard a pastor, and I'm not going to say his name, but this pastor has a reputation for having a really good heart and for being a true man of God. But his church is a mega church. And I remember one time he said, I have a vision. God gave me a vision of whatever city he's in. There's like a big arena. And he's like, my vision is that we'll be at that arena, sell it out for a prayer night, but there won't be any like celebrity Christians tied to it. Right? Because if you invite like Lecrae and Tasha Cobb, like people are going to pull up. Right. So he's like, we're going to sell out this big arena. Not sell out, but we're going to fill this big arena. But there's not going to be no celebrities tied to it. We're here to pray.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is such a beautiful vision, except for the fact that you're the celebrity. Right? And again, it's not because he wants to be a celebrity. It's not because he's like, he just is. He has a mega church.
Yeah.
He's popular, not because he's just popular. So they're not coming to see Tasha Cobbs, but they're kind of coming to see you. So,
exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That goes straight into my second one is also saying people coming for the person instead of the word. And I've heard this personally growing up, where when someone's asked about going to church, the first thing they ask is
who preaching? Yeah.
And if it's not that pastor, the pastor of that church, they're gonna go somewhere else, or they're not going. And again, that's the fame. Like even if it's not the pastor's intentions or whatever it is, clearly the congregation has created him to be that fame, to be that idol,
person.
So it's
him.
Right. And we see that happen because like if in sports, if LeBron isn't at a game, the prices of a ticket might drop all the way. Like, or people might just say, I don't want to go to that game because I came to see LeBron. So if anytime our language sounds reflective of other things like media, sports, that's a concern.
Now, in typical trap fashion, let me play Angel's advocate. I hear what you're saying, and I agree because I had the same point. But on the other side, if you were around in the Acts church, like during that church, like wouldn't you feel some type of way if you heard that like Paul or Peter was in town and you like, yo, this is Paul, like and you pull up and they got me preaching, it's just kind of like it's like I love Jesus, I came to him, but it's kind of like, bro, like this is Paul. This guy is like well known. He's killing us, and then he was with us, but we wasn't really sure. Then he was really with us, and like this is Paul,
right? And
it's like I kind of want to hear Paul preach, and it's like he not here like, oh, bro, they got trapped, like it's great. So like would you want this? I'm just asking. Would you be disappointed if you pulled up to Damascus or Jerusalem or wherever, and it wasn't Paul preaching, it was John number 7 in the Bible? It's a common name. Sorry. Not even one of the main Johns, like John number 7.
That's like TV, the subtitles, and they just don't have a real character name.
They're like
person number 7.
Yeah, John number 7.
Yo, I get what you're saying.
Okay.
And possibly, I feel like probably I get it. Because I feel like I've done that before. Like I know that on YouTube, I follow certain pastors, and their YouTube channel might not be their name, but it might be their church or their ministry name. And I remember, because I've been consciously listening to him, one week it was the message posted, but it wasn't him. And my first response was scroll. But then that conviction hit me. I was like, isn't the goal to hear the message of Christ? And if it's the ministry wasn't built on this person, but the word, I should then expect to hear the same impact of the word from this person. and it shouldn't have to only be funneled through this person. And that's also something I see as an issue, especially with down south churches. It's like we have a body full of ministers, only one person preaching. Every now and then you might get one person come in every now and then, but then you have a better chance of getting a guest speaker come to that church than the 15 members of the ministry clergy that you have at this moment at your exposal. I don't know. Whatever. Big words.
Insert big word here.
So I think while it's reasonable, like I won't sit here and act like that's not a common reflex, because I just know that I'm guilty of it as well. That shouldn't be it. And it made me think of, I think it's Corinthians, where Paul's writing the letter and he says, like, y'all are having conflict because some of y'all are saying, I follow Paul. The other will say, I follow Apollos. And he's like, what are y'all doing? Y'all are acting like the world.
Yeah.
So it's like, while this is a conscious thing, him coming at it from a Christian thing is like, this shouldn't be our nature.
Yeah.
So, I think that's just something that just has to be converted in us as well, so we don't get lost in the person over the word that's supposed to be given.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. Who just went, me or you? I don't remember.
I was responding to your second one,
okay.
but I was long, so you go ahead and do that third one.
Okay, cool. So this one is not a pro, but this one is actually on the side of the pastor.
Okay.
So remember what we said. Some pastors of megachurches, that might have been their goal to do that. Some of them, it just happened. So it's like, I'm here now. What do you want me to do? Sort of thing, right? And from their perspective, there's a song that Jay-Z, yes, everyone calm down. I did say Jay-Z. But there's a song where he was kind of complaining about fame. And he was saying like, sometimes I want to just go to the store with my daughter, but I can't because I'm famous. And it's like that. Like this person, God called them to preach. They're like, all right, I'll preach. And then for whatever reason, they're now the pastor of a mega church. And it's kind of like, I want to go to the mall with my family. And it's like, I'm not saying you can't go to the mall, but you just gotta, you gotta be a little careful because a lot of people know you and a lot of people like you, but some people also don't like you. So it's kind of like I can't just go to the mall. I just want to go to the mall. And it's like, so to me, for them, that's kind of frustrating. Like I just want to go to the mall, man. I mean, that's the thing. I just want to go to the mall.
That's a good point. I feel like every now and then when you look at Jesus' ministry too, for one reason or another, it says like, hey, he snuck out of this place to go somewhere else. So, I mean, that's definitely what Jesus had to, deal with. Mostly we look at it as, clearly people are after him trying to kill him, but he's also gaining that popularity from this town doing this miracle, this preaching and stuff. So, I mean, it sounds just like that. So yeah, that's a good point. I feel like I've heard Michael Jackson have that issue too. It was like he actually had to buy out a mall or rent out a mall because he knew he couldn't go there just to be there. So instead he had to rent that mall to privatize it just so he can go shop freely. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's a good point.
Just one more quick thing to add to that, because again, we're not name dropping any names, but there's a church that we watch and it's grown into a big church. And I asked my wife, I was like, do you think his kids go to like their kids' church? And I was like, I don't know, because again, the church has grown so much to where the pastor doesn't have security, but there's always like a police person there, like in case whatever. Yeah, we live in a crazy world, but it's like, okay, so you have, as the senior pastor, you have some protection in case something happens. Fine, right. but your kids, they're the same age as my kids and his kids. Like, can they just go to children's church, or got to be like, nah, everybody knows our kids, so we gotta kind of like not do that. So it's kind of like, that sucks, man. Yeah,
that would be hard, especially the highs and lows of having popularity in that nature. Yeah, good point. My third one is not on the side of the pastor. Is the idea of having the church and then trying to keep the number of the church. Like sometimes people do stuff like we've seen pastors have controversial things and stuff, And then for one reason or another, not saying everything is genuine or disingenuine, but they have to bounce back, either apologize, reflect, expose themselves to whatever. But the concern is like saying, does it get to a point, whether in because of exposure or is it because of just their feel of, am I going to keep scripture or am I going to keep people? And they're saying like, because a lot of the new churches, the new mega churches, are their reasons they're being known or credited or whatever it is because they're doing like radical things. Like, like we know a couple of mega churches that have done some controversial things to part of being this over illustrated point that they're trying to make. People are coming down from rosters. People have props. They have scenery. They do plays that might be pushing
interesting.
Yeah. So, and it's like, at what point is it just focusing on attendance with some scripture? It's like, no, I can justify it. Jesus wept right here. This is why we're talking about all these hoes crying. And it's like, versus saying like, I'm really focused on a doctrinal point to lead, to lead the sheep and stuff like that. And where does that balance comes from drawing the church to God versus I'm trying to make the word draw people or whatever. What's the the opposite of that? So
yeah, I see what you're saying. I think the tough thing with that is, the Bible talks about grace and truth. So grace is going to draw everyone, and we'll get like a really big crowd. But then eventually it's going to be like, okay, well now you got to preach truth, and it's like, but then like somebody's going to get offended, and get offended by it, right? And then it also goes to the budget because churches do the same thing we do, because they say when you get a raise, you raise your expenses to your new income level.
Yeah.
So if I have a church with 20 people, whatever we're receiving in, we live that way. Like, look, you got to turn the lights off. We give to one charity in town. We write a check once a year for $100, and they appreciate it. That's right. But then if the church magically goes to 2,000 people, I'm not going to give, right? I'm going to give more now. And we're going to have 5 lights instead of 1 light.
Right.
So then if something happens, it's like, well, we got 5 lights. We got to keep the 5 lights on.
Exactly.
We gave a check for 20,000 last year. We got to, we can't go back to 100. That's,
that's true.
We got to keep this thing going. So,
and those things come into play where it's like, but then that's still, like I say, yes. And I feel like you were adding on to what I was saying. Like, is it just focusing on scripture or it's like, I got to pay bills? Like, now that's another consideration, man. That's hard, man.
That makes me think back to BET. Remember you watching the BET show? They be like, all right, we got to pay some bills. We right back out.
Yeah.
So imagine the pastor is like, all right, we're going to preach some scripture, but we got to pay some bills. Let's get a sponsorship real quick, and we right back with the word of God. Can you imagine? I can see that happening. A sponsorship mid-sermon. Like,
that'd be crazy.
We got to pay the bills.
Listen, the way, not even this, I mean, mega churches are going to be mega churches, but just in the way technology and everything is, that might be, man, that might be a way. I won't say that's going to be the result of all churches, but the way some churches are, that's going to lead into it. It's like, hey, man, the Lord gave us all these things. You know what the Lord gave us?
These Sennheiser microphones.
Right. Here's Tim Cook to talk to you about the new iPhone. We're working with Tim Cook to launch this new Bible album.
I can't. That's not bad. Write that down. It's not bad. Anyway, okay. This is. I'll go with my number 3. So my number 3 point is pride. So I feel like as a Christian, there's like this balance of you understanding that things that get done with you and God, right? So I drove here to the studio. God didn't drive me here to the studio. I drove myself here. But I can say that God provided the means that I can have a vehicle. God gave me the mental capacity to know how to drive a car, right? You can kind of go through things that God gave me. He gave, like, luckily all my limbs work, so I can drive a car.
Yeah.
So I understand that God had something to do with it, but it's like, but God didn't, like, literally and physically drive me here. It was both of us together, right? So I think when you become the pastor of a mega church, it's like, yeah, you know, God has blessed us and God brought these people in and God allowed us to grow. But also, I preached that sermon. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? The sermon series we did was my idea. Like, I'm not right. Like, and it's kind of like I hired CJ. You know, because they love CJ. Like, it was my idea to hire. I interviewed CJ and I hired him. Like, I mean, I prayed about it, but so I feel like it just like the bigger it gets, I feel like the easier it is for you to kind of be like, I mean, like I did this, right? I mean. Especially since y'all here for me. I wasn't here last week. Y'all were sad because I wasn't here. But I'm back. Everybody's happy, right? I mean, it's kind of like...
Right.
Come on, man. This is my church. You serious? Like, it's so much harder.
You know what grinds my gears?
Hey, let's get
something that you just said. I am trying my hardest to keep composure when someone's going in their sermon and then at some little point, I'm preaching up in here. Like
I'm preaching better than y'all saying.
Oh my gosh. I'm like,
I love that saying.
Sir, keep going. What are we doing?
I'm
like
preaching better than y'all saying amen. Y'all don't hear me.
Like, you imagine watching, I mean, I guess they do it in basketball. I guess that's what it feels like. I'm watching the three. It's like Steph Curry made the three, but also he had to turn around and like, that's what it feels like. And but to go to your point, like, I've heard the opposite when it comes to, like, you know, the idea of like saying, yes, God has given these things, but I am driving this car. And it's like, I've heard sermons where they be like, hey, take a second. You heard that breath you did? God gave you that breath. So it's like they're going to the point that every moment you're breathing is not even your breath. Like, you can say, you can say, well, I mean, it's my lungs that are open and closing. But they're like, they've gone that far to be like, hey, every breath is God giving you that breath, and at any point God can take that breath away from you, you know? So yeah, that's a good point. There's the where you go from there, whether you look at it as like, hey, I did write that. Like, I did come up with this. Like, hey, nobody said fellowship till CJ said it on that podcast. Like,
that's true.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny, but that's a good point.
Right.
Very good point. So I don't have any other points on that.
Oh, on this? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll just say my last one is really
Yeah.
short so we can move forward. Last one, and you touched on this earlier actually, is that it kind of forces you to be scarce. Because remember before we were talking about the church gets so big and so many people know you and you don't know who's for you, who's against you, stuff like that. So it forces you to kind of seclude yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, if you're at a smaller church, you may know the pastor, get to speak to him, shake his hand, look him in the eye. I've had pastors where I've like been to their house. You know what I'm saying? It's just like very close.
Right.
Bro, if I'm the pastor of a 2,500 person church, like,
how?
I'm sorry, you can't come to my house.
Yeah.
You probably won't even know where I live. Just safety reasons, but like,
Right.
you can't even know where I live. Sorry. It's like, so.
And that makes sense because you don't know these people, you know? Like, do you, like, some people just because they're there, it becomes, like you said, a celebrity. They want to be a part of it too, but I don't know. You just been here for 3 weeks, ma'am. No, you're not coming. You're not coming to see my kids. Like, what?
I just want to stop by the house and drop off a casserole.
You can drop it off. Drop it off to my secretary. I'll come and get it. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the real thing. Like, Pastor, can you baptize me? This is a really big church. I'm not going to baptize you. But, you know, so I mean, not to say that getting baptized by the senior pastor is like a special thing. It's like you just have to kind of separate yourself a little bit because there's so many people and you're on a pedestal now. So it's tough.
And using the term baptism, that exposes to the people heart where it'd be like, oh, I want to get baptized. I'm like, cool. Our assistant pastor is doing this. No, I want you to baptize me, pastor. The water's not going to be different.
That's where the water guns come in.
All right.
Who wants to get baptized? Line up.
Oh my. That's never mind.
It's technology.
Never mind.
Anyway,
That was my turn to catch that thought. That was my turn. So we talked about the issues, the pros, mainly issues of a mega church pastor. Another thing that goes into it, that you brought up, expenses. So we're talking about tech. The time basically calls for tech in one way, shape, or form. So now we just want to address 3 points: the good, the bad, and spiritual. So I'll hit this first one.
Let's get it.
Since we're doing a list, but it's also 3 points, do you want to do one thing and then hit why it's good, bad, or spiritual? Or do you want to just keep going good, back and forth, bad, back and forth, spiritual, bad? Okay.
Let's do that.
Cool. First thing for it being good is you get access to anything. For tech. There's not even in a church setting, but just in tech alone. You have the ability to, if you want to look up anything, you can look it up. If I took today to say I wanted to study about the Renaissance era, have more than enough resources from Google. I don't think nobody uses Wikipedia now, but even the AI now. Oh, okay. A little bit. Okay. The AI now will link you to so many different like colleges, studies, other universities, and all these historian stuff. So there's no reason for you to not at least have access to something where we can't say, oh, you might not have known it because it was just you never heard about it, but if something becomes relevant to you, you can at least pursue it if you so choose.
Yeah, so. And I know you said it wasn't specific to church, but in the church perspective, when I'm with my teens, sometimes I'll be like, hey, open your Bibles and turn to this. And they're like, I don't have a Bible. And I'm like, sir, madam, it's 2025. Even if you don't have the app on your phone, just Google.
Right.
I said it's like everybody got a Bible. So,
but
then sometimes they're like, I don't have a phone. And I was like, okay, take mine. But
no.
Like you said,
in 2025, for anybody that has a phone, there's no reason you don't have access to some Bible format. Now, granted, highly would advise for everybody to have a physical Bible.
They're nice. I like them. They're nice. But yes, I would agree. I think technology is convenient.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I'll leave it there. I had an example, but I forgot.
All right, what's one good thing?
So since we're talking about technology in general and not just necessarily in a church perspective, it's good for healthcare. Right? So I guess you don't know what it's like not to have something if you've always had it. But if you break a bone, or if it's anything going on inside of your body, you're like, oh, just go to the hospital. You get an X-ray, an MRI, a CAT scan. Like, you just go to the hospital. And it's like, they didn't have that always.
Yeah,
if there was something going on inside your body, they were like guessing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, better healthcare.
That's a good point. Very good point.
Longer lifespans. Healing times is faster because they can better pinpoint what the issue is, how to fix stuff like that. So technology definitely helps with healthcare.
Even to add on to that too, even sometimes beforehand, you can kind of, not saying you should self-diagnose yourself, but sometimes you can, if you're familiar with something, like if I know that I've had an issue with my skin or something, I can look it up and be like, okay, this is just a regular abrasion, ice, treat this. And then if something's wrong, then we'll go further. I'm not telling anybody to be like, oh, you broke your ankle. What does Google say? No, go to the hospital, please. Like, get out of here. So yeah, you good?
Good.
All right. The second thing I was thinking of is communication. Because now, listen, my kids are talking to my mom almost every other night. So from Maryland to South Carolina, technology has provided access to be able to communicate with people anywhere. And even now, like with our podcast, I think looking at the analysis, analytics, whatever, insert big word, it shows that there's other countries that have listened to us recently. And it's like, bro, we're not in those other, I'm scared.
Just keep going.
But But to be able to like know that not only just our community can hear and listen to us, but other like anybody in the world can come across us. They have access to listen to us as well as we have access to listen to other people from around the world. And I just think that is a unbelievable thing that I'm sure, like you said, people literally decades ago wasn't even thinking about that they could do something like that.
Absolutely. There's like a saying, I don't know the exact saying, so I'll just paraphrase it. But basically, it talks about like the importance of travel because it opens up your mind to things that you wouldn't even imagine just staying where you are locally. So while it's still good to travel, if you're able to see or hear or experience another culture through your phone, it's just like, yo. So there's this guy I watch on Snapchat, and he's in like these countries in the Middle East. And he just goes around and tries different foods. Mm-hmm. So he'll be like, hey, what is this? And he'll explain it. And he'll buy it and he'll taste it and kind of explain it to you. You're like, wow, he's eating like crocodile neck or something. You're like, who knew that was a thing? So, yeah. I mean, no, sometimes it really is. I mean, this is like, he's not in like Canada. He's in like, you know what I'm saying? So the food is very different.
Crocodile neck, though. That is...
people eat neck bones, right?
I mean, they do. We definitely eat neck bones down south. So yeah, it's crocodile. Like I've heard people eat like alligator and stuff. So like crocodile and neck. I've never.
I mean, it's tender. I just imagine it's tender. I don't know.
Wow. All right.
All right. Connecting the dots. My last good thing with technology is it helps us with our food supply. It helps to reduce starvation.
Yeah.
So there are still some parts of the world where food is tough, but through technology, we've been able to kind of stabilize the food supply, right? Because certain stuff is seasonal, and then there's the risk of like disease in certain plants or certain animals where you'd be like, hey, we can't eat this because
contamination.
Right, but because of technology, it's like, hey, we can have a pretty steady supply of these various foods, regardless of the season, regardless of what's going around, because they've figured out a way to kind of hold it back. So
yeah, that's true. Because when you hear like certain outbreaks or something, that sounds like back in the day, probably like, oh, shut down farms. Like they can just isolate it and then just restart the system. So yeah, that's true. That's a very good point to make. What's my last one? I don't like this word in a science term, but it's very, very effective to use in a technological term. Evolution. Okay. And I say that because, like, again, decades ago, we were on landlines and stuff like that. So not only has tech advanced to all these things that we've talked about, but it's continuing to advance. And it's continuing to find ways to help increase these things that we lack in just our human capacities to give access to these different resources, foods and stuff like that. You can not only do so at this level, you can do it at a much efficient level. You can do it at a much faster level. You can even do stuff at a convenient level. So it's like, like it's crazy because just like think like eating has come to such a passive thing. Like I could just go on the way home and pick up something, where my grandma would have to make sure that they're home. If, of course, like times and stuff, she'd probably be at home. But like to cook a meal, like now cooking a meal is something we can choose to do, versus if you ain't cooking, where you gonna get something to eat from tonight? Or in our refrigeration, like it probably didn't have refrigeration. So it's like, if y'all don't eat this, we can't eat this in 2 more days or something So it's just so many things of these continual evolutions that continue to make things better in different ways throughout our just humanity.
Absolutely. So once again, we did the pros. Mm-hmm. Let's get to the cons.
Hey.
Let's get to the cons.
All right.
I'll go first since you went first in the last one. Something bad or negative about technology. I I think so. So I'll just say this: a lot of my bad stuff is tied to the church, or whatever. But anyway,
Okay.
I think convenience breeds contempt. You know, it says
Yes.
like familiarity breeds, but convenience
Yes.
does too. And the other day, one of our youth leaders was leading youth group, and he was sharing a story about a pastor was sharing how he went to Asia and they don't have Bibles, so they would like memorize the Bible. So they don't have access to the Word, so they cherish it. It's like, if there's a Bible in my hand, like I don't know if or when I'm going to have it in my hand again. So let me do everything I can to make sure I got it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I also told you I was watching House of David, which, you know, it's a show, so they take some creative liberties with some of the stuff. But the leader of the house of Judah went to King Saul, and he was like, hey, I know you have those scrolls. Like, let me get those, bro. You know what I'm saying? He's like, let me get those, bro. And he's like, nah. But think back. Back then, the word of God was written on scrolls, but it was scarce. So you might have a scroll, and I may not.
Right.
You may read it aloud. I may see it real quick, but it's yours. I can't get it at any time. So it was very precious.
That's true.
Now, man, you blink and you can find a Bible. You can find a Bible anywhere, anytime. We were talking earlier about Google. So I think because we have so much access to the Bible, and I can get it at any time. It's like, I'm not reading it. Like, I don't have to read it now because I could read it later, at midnight. It's like I just read it later. I don't need to read it now. Whatever.
Yeah, and even diving into that, like how you said with the church and like Asia and stuff like that, how many of us are consciously memorizing scripture? We don't have to, you know, like, so, but we lose the effect of that because I'll just read it, you know, like, of course, this is a point to, you know, going back and continuing to read the Bible. That's not the issue. But like you said, there's a thing about cherishing the word more when you have to have those things, like, you know, like, because we're so, like, I don't know, overflown. Why can't I know words today? But because we have so much access, that's one of...
No, because convenience. Because you might have just started typing something, it would have finished the sentence for you, but now you got to say the whole sentence yourself. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not that bad, I promise. But because we have all these access to it at any time, we, like you said, we lose the feel of the necessity of God's word. So that's a good point, and I'm glad you put it to the church aspect to that.
Just real quick, generally, I also feel bad for our kids, and us a little bit, because how are they going to know how to spell? Because, right, your grandmother, I know my parents were like, go get the dictionary. Mm-hmm. Or even, I mean, we're not that old. We had computers, but you usually type your paper and then go to spell check. And after you've at least tried to spell the word, like I sounded it out, I think this is how you spell it.
Yeah.
I'll hit spell check and it'll let me know whether or not I got it wrong.
Right.
But now, as I'm typing it, it's like,
autocorrect.
That's not how you spell it.
Yeah.
I'll just fix it for you. Boom. So, anyway, I digress.
That's a very good point, too. Okay. All right. My first bad, and I tried to keep it connected to what I thought my good was.
Okay.
So, of course, my first good one was access to everything. My bad, privacy.
Okay. I didn't see that. Okay.
Having the access to everything now. Oh, I think I know where you were going. Yeah. Access to everything.
Everything ain't good for y'all.
Yeah. Porn. I just love the fact that that's our substitute, so I felt very more free to say that. But yeah, the privacy, like, you remember the show Catfish?
Yeah, I was watching something about it earlier. Great show.
That was over 10 years ago. Like, and the fact that people were able to trick people and have these, like, false identities and stuff, that was then, and it's just everywhere. Like, there's nothing you can do that it isn't possible to have it. Now, we have these comforting ideas of like safety nets, VPNs, lock guards, safeguards, whatever you want to call them, safe life repair, safe life replace. But
Nationwide's on your side.
Listen,
come on,
man.
Come on.
For 15 minutes, 15%. No. But like they give you those things to try to give you a surety, but also I still get alerts that says, "Oh, this bank has been tampered and your information might be, given out." So it's like, but what can you do if it's a corporation, but I'm supposed to think that this is also going to protect my private life? So it's like there's no real full assurance. I won't sit here and be like, "Oh, the internet should be a scary place for people," but I'm saying in the same way that at any time somebody could try to break into my house because of whatever need, now because everything's just accessible through this veil of communication of technology, the same thing applies. At any time, if somebody with the right skill set and the right kind of knowledge and awareness of technology can breach anything. So.
Yeah. It's. I mean, I think at this point, there's like little things, like you said, you do just where you like, oh, well, I feel protected, or even like I stood my ground, because when you download an app on your phone, they're like, we want permission for this, and most times you just like, yeah, whatever. But sometimes the permissions they ask for is like, what do my camera got to do with a calculator? Why does my camera, right?
Bro.
But again, but for us it's like, well, I really want this app, so I ain't got no choice.
You can have it. Yeah.
Right? But every once in a while I'll be like, no, I don't want this app. You're not. You know what I'm saying? There's a couple apps that want my location. They not. Right. You know what I'm saying? You're not getting my location. But
fair.
But there's 17 other ones where it's like, you got me.
Right.
Man. You got my DNA. You know everything. Just take it. I mean, I use my fingerprint to unlock my phone.
Exactly.
They got me. It's a wrap. I'm sorry. So, yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Okay. This might be kind of in line with what you were thinking, but I think access to technology, it's so much easier to sin.
Corn.
Dog, if you wanted to watch Triple X movie or video or magazine or something, yeah, let's go that, right? You had to like go somewhere, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if you had one in the house, you could hide or whatever. You still had to hide it from. I don't know. To me, it was just like harder. You have to do more work to access those things.
Oh.
My nieces and nephews have phones with internet on it. Now, I pray to God my nieces and nephews aren't watching the corn, but they could. I mean, like, what did Kanye say? Who gonna stop me? Huh? It's just it's like you have access to everything. So, and I mean, it's not just that; it's gambling. People used to go to the casino.
Yeah.
Maybe like, hey, honey, I gotta work late, and then drive to the casino and blow their money. Right. You don't gotta drive to the casino, blow your money. You could come home and be like, yeah, honey, let's watch a movie together. More money, like,
yeah.
It's so much easier to fall into sin. It's just.
And what's so crazy about that too is that not only is it easier, it's advertised. Right. Like going to the casino is like, that's an exclusive thing you do. You go to Vegas, there's a whole world out here that you only know because you went to Vegas. But now it's like, oh, you're watching basketball. Also, DraftKings.com. Like,
y'all gotta look this up. I showed this to. I'm sorry. Okay, so y'all know Shannon Sharp. I know y'all know Shannon Sharp.
Come on,
or Shay Shay.
Shay Shay.
He had DraftKings as a sponsor. So before he'd be like, you can sign up for DraftKings, which is $5, YouTube. That's the way he'd be like, $5.
Yeah, he do.
So when you said you DraftKings, I'm like, our sponsor for today is DraftKings for just $5. You can sign up. I'm Shannon, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but that's hilarious. Anyway,
come on, Skip. Come on. Yo, okay. But yeah, and even with like corn. But it's like you can like scroll on Facebook and it'd be like, even on my TikTok, like, and be like, AI, chat with AI. This person can be anything that you want it to be. Or they got games and be like, hey, have an AI girlfriend. Like, no, stop. Like,
let me tell you one thing about that. Snapchat, so I'm slowly weaning myself off Snapchat. I think I might just get off it altogether.
Yeah.
But social medias, they typically have an algorithm based on what you liked, what you follow, what you typed in, etc.
Right.
Snapchat don't care. They be, bro, I'll be on Snapchat I'll watch like some gossip type thing.
Yeah.
I'll watch a sports thing, and I'll watch a funny thing, and it'll be like naked lady though, and I'm like, no,
Right.
block. Right, so I blocked this. So in your system,
Yeah.
I've clicked these 3 categories of videos multiple times. You sent this, I blocked it.
Because they looking at your subcategories.
I'm like, okay,
They be like-
hide this. So I'm telling you, don't show me this naked woman. But what about this naked? I'm like, bro, how do you control this thing? This thing is out of control.
You selected this funny video. You know what else is funny? This
Naked woman.
You can make this naked woman be your comedian.
Bro,
Yeah.
I get Snapchat.
So-
Get your algorithm together.
Oh.
Y'all, wow.
You reminded me when you was like, it used to be harder to have access to stuff. And it made me think that I remember when I was little, maybe like around preteen, let's say preteen. And that's when we first got a computer in the house. First time I get the computer. Got introduced to some stuff. This computer is in the middle of the house. This is in the den. So it's like I got 2 options. Either I go in there and try to turn the volume all the way down, or
Listen close.
or I try to wait till everybody's asleep, or nobody's there and I'm home alone. And it's like the risk you'll take for stuff like that. It was just crazy thoughts of remembering, like, but that was me having to go outside. Like I gotta go there. I can't take this giant wall of a computer system in my room. Like,
Listen.
but like you said, now it doesn't take anything. I could take my phone's up here. So I say I could take my phone under this table and it'd be like naked girl Travis was talking about. Like,
but even you may not even be looking for it.
right? That's even true too.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, okay, like I'm not looking for.
Right.
I'm not looking for 5 books. I'm not looking for naked women. I'm just here. I'm about to. Because you know what happens? And I know it happens to you too. You might be reading your Bible or you thinking about something even biblical, and you like, let me Google this thing real quick.
Yep.
But on Google it has like, and you're like, oh wait, somebody traded? Who made a trade? And now you read it, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah,
Good point.
technology.
Technology. All right, so second bad for me with communication, and I started going into it with the first one, but catfishing and stuff like that. Not only is that it shows that just how long that has been happening. Like I had a friend, one of my brothers, and someone took his picture and made a whole other Facebook page. And it's like, my friend's name is Akil. This is the exact same picture, but this is for Marcus James or something like that stays in another city. And I'm like, you ain't even trying, like, it's like, or maybe you weren't trying to get caught by me because I know, like,
Yeah.
but it's just crazy to know that that happens, you know, like people are just really taking identities. And even now, like I've heard so many stories where it's like, you can change your voice. Like, so there's gaming people or people are gaming, but they're sounding like kids. Yes.
So they're adults?
Here's a recent story. Apparently, Roblox, you've heard of Roblox? Apparently, that is a big area for people to go in and PDFs talk to kids.
Yo, did you see the video? Did you just say PDFs?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, continue.
What are you talking about?
Ain't that pedophiles?
Yeah. That's
Yeah, I know, but you can't say it because the
Yeah.
algorithm will get you.
Yeah.
So I thought that was hilarious.
So apparently there's been this one YouTuber that started catching them. Basically, he would
To catch a predator.
Basically,
Yeah.
he would like go into these rooms and build up the conversation, and they would be attracted to him if he portrayed himself. I didn't know how he presented himself to these people that exposed him, but apparently he caught 6 people. Like he literally like got police involved and got them caught. And then apparently Roblox banned him because they said the way that he's doing it, he's manipulating servers and other stuff like that. So now there's a whole thing, he's trying to get blocked, but it's just like knowing that this isn't just this happened on Roblox. Like this has been like people are showing like, hey, this microphone has a voice changer. You can sound like a 12-year-old. Why do you want to sound like a 12-year-old?
That's a good point. Everything. There's a good side and a bad side, and with more access, more power, more communication, more availability, all of the positive things. You can talk to your grandmother that lives in another state. You can translate. If you're talking to someone in another country, like I don't speak that language, I can have it translate. Like just all these amazing things you can do. But that also means the pedophiles, catch it now. That also means the pedophiles have more access.
Exactly.
You just go down the list of all the,
Exactly.
the scammers
Yeah.
have more access. So it's a double-edged sword.
So yeah, that's why sometimes, and we've gone back and forth on it, and we haven't been fully set on it, but certain things bring that awareness back to us. It's like just wanting to post pictures, like even on social media now, it's like, wow, it's like, oh, y'all are my friends, I want y'all to see this, experience it, put it on social media. But then there's also a side of me and be like, who can get this? Who's looking at this and like, oh, I want to take CJ's face and make him be a Korean accountant and sell stuff overseas or something like that, or take the kids' pictures for PDFs, like. And so those things now, that just makes that, if I'm thinking about it at the time, that makes it just so much more cautious to do it, to be a part of.
So our church got hacked, and it's not funny. Y'all, oh my god, our church got hacked at one time, and the person that hacked us was posting corn, and it's like, sir, I'm not saying it's not one of the things where I'm like, I'm not telling you to do the wrong thing, but if you want to hack a church page, like, come on. Come on, dog. Like,
it's so funny because like the initials of our church, the church we go to.
Yeah.
But the initials that we say it, the church is, they did it. They was like, oh, that's what. Oh, it is. It's there right now.
No, listen.
That is wild.
Okay.
That is wild.
Anyway, let's keep rolling. Oh man, it's 8:20.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. If you need to take a break.
Let me turn this off. And
This episode is brought to you by DraftKings. It's a commercial site.
$5 YouTube. I'm sorry. You have to pray for me. Anyway, let me get to my spiritual one. I don't have a whole lot for it. I actually just have two, so I'll say my one.
Okay.
Spiritually, I think technology can help lead to addiction, which is, so we spoke about corn already, which is one of them. They talk about how unhealthy the food is in America, and it's like sugar is like a drug. Like they make it and design it in such a way where it's like, I want more of this. So it's I watched a sermon on Sunday, and the pastor was saying how, like, we're addicted to certain things, and then you're like, I'm not addicted. What are you talking about? And it's like, yeah, well, stop doing it. And it's like, okay, like, mind your business, sir.
Right.
So,
you just gonna make me stop right now.
Yeah, so it's like, I'm not addicted to soda. Stop drinking it.
I got like 4 more sodas at the house.
Right, like, I'm not gonna waste them. So spiritually, we're supposed to be free, right? You don't have to be addicted to anything. So technology makes it so much easier to be addicted.
That's true. So mine is going to bounce between generic idea of spiritual, and we're going to start touching a little bit of conspiratorial areas. So not only does it go into bad of like deceiving, taking information and stuff like that, but you can also deceive to the nature of being impacted. What I mean is, like, you think about how much people talk about church hurt today. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you have a physical experience with so-and-so, but now if you're online and doing something, like I've even heard like people who are thinking that they're talking to somebody and they're asking for money. This person, but it's not even a real person, or it's somebody else pretending to be this person. So it's like, you can be deceived and led away into following a ministry that's not really a ministry in that aspect.
I understand.
Or because you have access to everything, you might be access to a church that looks like a good church, but they're not biblically sound or whatever reason. So you're allowing yourself to be deceived, and it's so much easier. And in the last days, it talks about people are going to go to what sounds better to the ears and leave sound doctrine. So now you have access to anything that sounds good. So if you want to look up something that, what's a pastor that says that this thing that's probably a sin, even though I haven't looked it up, but they say it's good. I can look it up and follow that guy. Like, it's easy to do those things.
They had a custom pastor. He died recently, but that's a good point, because I didn't think about that. there could be a church, right? Tying it all together. Thank you, Jesus. There could be a mega church that's not doing the right thing, but because they have so many resources, it's easy for you to get to.
Yeah.
Okay, you can come to our services. We have 15 campuses. At the campuses, we have 3 different service times. If you can't come to one of our 15 campuses or make one of our service times, we stream on YouTube, we stream on Facebook, we stream on, whatever you're saying, you can get it.
Right.
And if you miss it, we do a rebroadcast. So it's kind of like we have so many resources that we make it easy for you to see us.
Yeah.
Now, what you're seeing and hearing may not be good. It may not be, neat. It may not be biblical.
Yeah.
But because of technology, matter of fact, buy my book. Let me make sure,
Exactly.
With your $5, you can get my book. Like, you're going to get what we're putting out there one way or the other because we're using everything to come at you.
Exactly. And to go into my conspiracy thing, AI, is it demonic? Now, before we dive into it, somebody made a very good point. Mm-hmm. Someone's made this, apparently some atheists or something, they have this group of people that did this experiment where they went to the cemetery and made up this mythology of a spirit being there, named them whatever it was, and they went to speak to the spirit. The spirit spoke. But they made this person up.
Yeah.
And so somebody made this connection, was like, demons are smart. They're just going to be what you want it to be. So they was like saying like, that's why a demon is like this. They used a very terrible illustration, but it was like this melted humanoid thing that's dressed up and holding out a picture of your grandma. So it's like people talking to spirits thinking that it's their grandma, but it's really their spirit. And it's like, demons don't have to be anything. They just have to fulfill what you want something to be. So it's like people are like, because I've always heard like people saying like, okay, technology is coming to market a beast. Now AI is becoming sentient. And they made a good perspective where it's like AI is just a computer process. But the more we start to say like, oh, this might be a spiritual thing, the demon's like, oh, y'all want it to be a spirit? Let me jump into it. Like, so.
Yeah. So I feel like my second and last one for spiritual kind of ties into that, but it's idolatry.
Yeah.
Right? Well, what I put down was with technology, it's like, who do you give the credit to? Right? Who do you give the glory to? Like, this thing happened, and it's like, was it God? Did it come from above? Did it come from the heavens? Or was it like, no, it was ChatGPT. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so to your point, because you said we're creating it, but that's what the Bible talks about. The Bible talks about is like y'all people are so messed up that you rather worship something that you created rather than worship the creator. Exactly. So just because their idols were like wooden, you know what I'm saying? They were like statues and stuff like that. We're like, oh, they're so primitive, but we're so, okay, my idol is this AI thing. I literally created, me or another human created this program. We programmed it.
Right.
It thinks, or it's trying to think the way that we think. And while the human brain is marvelous and amazing, the Bible says that his ways and his thoughts are far above ours.
Right.
So even if it's able to think like two of me's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we created this thing that looks, acts, and thinks like us, and we like, yeah. And God is like, bro, it's literally the same thing.
Right.
You're worshiping
right.
creation.
Y'all just made a toy that talks back to you.
Right. So idolatry, man. It's a big concern with technology. Not just AI, but just technology in general. Because they talk about how, because earlier we talked about how healthcare is good, but they also say healthcare can sometimes weaken our faith. Because in some parts of the world where they don't have as much healthcare, they have no choice but to depend on God for healing and protection.
Yeah, that's
true. We could take the flu shot. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll just take the flu shot.
I just gotta take the shot. This don't bother me.
So, yeah.
My last thought going into, like you said, how God already talked about us making the statues and stuff like that. Again, borderline on conspiratorial stuff. When it talks about the what's it? The statue of Nebuchadnezzar, where it's the iron, was like the silver, bronze.
Yeah.
At the end, which people say in the prophesies the last days, the iron mixed with the clay. We have Neuralink, where it's putting chips into the brains of people. You never heard of Neuralink? It's actually have 2 successful people that they put a chip.
Now, is that to help them see because they're blind or something like that, or?
I know one person is doing it for function. So it's like they have limited function. They're supposed to be doing this, and apparently it helps cognition or something like that. So yeah, it is something that's supposed to help general function. Kind of like, I guess, I don't want to fully like assume because I don't really remember, but I guess in that nature of like how Stephen Hawking kind of became, where it's like he had to do. It was that he had a chair that did it, but now it was like to the point where he just had something that if he lightly rubbed it, it could talk and stuff for him. Chip. So something like that. But it's meant to like go further than that, like to tap into certain things. That's to assume the future of that evolution, but it's just in so many different ways, we're doing things to mesh that idea. And I think there's a scientist who's talked about like the goal is for us to blend these things so we don't have to limit our human capacity anymore because we have technology to extend it. So now we can just put our brains in a computer and we'll continue to live for whatever amount of years and stuff like that. So it just sounds like we're doing that whole end time iron mixed with the clay because we're the clay, the potter and stuff like that, and iron technology is all metal. So
as you were thinking about that, I was just thinking about like you come out of church one day and I'm drumming and you like, bro, like you killed it. I'm like, Chip.
I'm running. I'm
looking. Because when you said it, you like, yeah, before you know he had to rub it. It's like, how you doing that, Chip? And it's like, oh, he's doing this like thing that he couldn't before, but because of a chip. So it's like, well, Trav, last time I came, you was playing at this level. Now I just came, you just did this. How? And I'm like, Chip.
Think about, and now that makes me
go up.
But now that makes me think it's really more of a spiritual thing because you have that idea back in the day with music where it was like the guy who had the crossroads with the devil, where I forgot the old blues person who they said he couldn't play, met the devil on the crossroads. Next day he came back, played phenomenal. What happened to him? Satan. Like, and so now today,
Chip. His name is not Lucifer anymore? Nah, Chip.
Yeah, they're Chip for short.
Wait, hold on. We're back. Time in.
Cool. So, since we're about to fully end it, we're just going to talk about the last topic where those things blend together, taking the church. So, just making just the idea on what's the difference between, well, not the difference, where's the balance between these things being helpful to the church or being a harm to the church. And I feel like we've already talked about it in so many different ways, but now I just have a couple other ideas and maybe there's some extra things that we can think of that comes together. As far as the tech, for me, that's like the good of it is that now, today's time, you have a mega church. You have TVs on the side where it's like people can see, have a side room, or even like if in the nursery, everybody can listen because they have TVs, audio, anybody throughout the church, whatever your thing is, if you want to listen to it, you have access. The bad, depending on like what you're doing, you lose focus. You might be losing focus because you want to look at this versus that. Sometimes we just get drawn to TVs versus like, are you even listening? Because we might have a filter on it, whatever it is. TV might start going bad. Church we've gone to, they have this 4-panel TV set, but one of the TVs are always going on and off. So I'm focused. I'm like do it again.
like a fly.
Yeah. So, and then another thing, because going into like, I'm talking about like when you don't have it, you cherish it more because we use TVs for stuff like songs. So like, but also we're now dependent on needing to read these songs as we sing it versus like back in the day, you had to know these songs. Yeah. Granted, certain hymns you would be comfortable sitting up there with the thing, but other than that, if you learning a song, you got to know the song.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's
fine. Church technology, I like it. I did some tech at our church. For me personally, yes, everything you said, all the benefits. I think some of the cons are because we live stream and record it. Like, I'm paying attention, but not really, because I know I can just go back and watch it, even though I probably won't. But I can, right? So if it was like no recording, no TVs here, if you miss this message, you're not going to hear it again, right? So again, going back to like we were talking about earlier, where like convenience breeds contempt. It's like, I'll just watch it later.
Yeah.
Right. So there's definitely a lot of that, and then sometimes the tech can be taken too far to where it's a distraction. Not because it's not working, but it is working, and we got like strobe lights. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, this is blinding me literally. So there's that.
I was just about to ask you, Trav, but go ahead and finish your thought.
But again, I do like it. I'm not a super creative person, but I can be creative at times.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool when you could bring the tech into the message. So like, you know, we talking about them back in Egypt, and it's like, okay, well, I mean, our church doesn't, but a church might have an LED wall. Let's do a desert theme, right? It's kind of like, you don't need that,
right?
But it's nice. We talking about the desert, and there's a desert behind you. You have the technology, put a desert behind you, and
I have noticed that lately. Like some big churches, they have a whole wall of imagery, and it's cool. And it's funny because I don't think, while I've seen it in the background, it hasn't distracted me. But sometimes we do stuff, and they be like, oh, there's a little Jesus flying on the cross going in the background. Like, why are we doing that?
So that's what I'm saying. So like I said, I like it because you get to be creative, but you know, we're sometimes we can be too creative. Like, okay, sir, no,
right, please stop.
This is too much. Like, this is unnecessary. This is ridiculous. So that's the risk. Like, okay, we're in the desert. So you put orange lights. Like, okay, but let's put orange strobe lights and let's have camels walking, and it's like, no, you took it too far.
Speaking of too much,
time out. It's my wife. Time out. Hey, babes. What's she doing? She loves me. She does.
I promise.
What do you say?
Were you on there?
No. How am I gonna get on?
Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's done.
Okay. I still love her. All right.
I'm sorry.
Time in. Yeah, so Cam was just walking by, like, all right, this is not Sight and Sounds. Although I do love Sight and Sounds.
Speaking of too much, what's the point of the fog?
So, okay. So, 90% of the way I can see why the fog is like, people don't like it, it's not spiritual, it's not spiritual. I get it.
Okay.
10%, I like, again, you're being creative. So the lights that you have, so my orange lights for my thing,
shows the laser.
You can see it in the fog. And also, one night I was driving from my grandma's house back home, shut up, girl, and it was foggy, and the street lights, and I was like, yo, that's the same effect with the fog and the lights. And I was like, we stole it from Jesus, because the fog... No, okay. Calm down. I'm not saying Jesus' church had movers. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is the fog machines, it's called a fog machine for a reason, because it's recreating actual fog. And the next time it's foggy in a city near you, look at the street light and you'll see it has the exact same effect as the light at a big church somewhere. So that's my 10%.
To go outside in the fog and it's like, oh man, look at this setting. Yeah, let's have church, guys.
I mean,
no.
10%.
10%. That's a very generous 10%.
Listen, I'm learning, I'm growing. We probably don't need the fog. But can we keep the lights, man? They don't got a strobe or nothing, but I like lights.
That's fair. That's all
They don't have to be a disco ball or anything.
I think they distract me more because if I'm on stage, I'm looking, they're moving. I'm like,
what I'm saying, again, I'm learning. Like you don't even have to have them move.
Yeah, you can just have it. Just have lights.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But you can have it built with the music. That's really cool. Okay, is that too much? I'm sorry. I love it. I love it. I'm sorry. We're off the rails at this point. What is happening? I'm just saying. Again, it goes to the creativity. Okay, all right. I'm gonna say this and I'm done. I promise. I said something. It's like, so I play the drums a little bit. I dabble, and one of the cool things about being in a band is that like we're in sync. So when you break down, it's like everyone breaks down.
Yeah.
And then when you build, we all build together. And it's like you're singing, your guitar, but like we're all doing this thing together.
Yeah.
So then it's also kind of cool if you like break down and then the lights kind of come down. And it's like, oh, wait, lights, you're in this with us too? Like, okay. And then we start to build and then like, oh, wait, the lights are building? Like, it's like an additional member of the band where we're all doing this thing together. It's like kind of cool.
That is cool. I do agree with that. I've seen some effective lighting with the band where it builds up and the crescendo is yes. Do we need it?
No, we don't need it, but
it's cool.
We got a big budget. I'm sorry, that probably didn't help my cause. I'm just saying. That probably did not help my cause.
We got money. What else we gonna do with it?
You would buy the pastor a jet? No, you get lights. Come on.
Extra fog.
No, we're going to talk about that next time. That's going to be a bonus clip. When we talk about
that's going to be on Patreon. That's
right.
That one's going on Patreon.
I'm not going to say it. But yes, let's go on Patreon. Cool.
All hearts and minds are clear.
Yeah.
Final thoughts? Or you can take a random thought.
Nah, I'm gonna go with my final thought. I think my final thought is be open to correction. And I know correction is kind of like a dirty word, but correction doesn't always have to be like harsh or somebody yelling at you. It could simply be somebody pointing something out to you that you didn't notice, or opening your mind to a different perspective you didn't see before. So when it comes to churches and Christianity, so many different seasons in my life, I like, yes, this is it. And then I was like, where did I get that from? That's not it. You know what I'm saying? Then the next season is like, all right, I got it. And it's like this is it, but that part is not it. And it's like, oh, I really thought it was. Okay, it's not. So, you know, if you're a pastor of a mega church, if you drive a Bentley, I mean, I don't know, figure that out. If you got lights, if you got hazers, if you got technology, whatever it is, man, just be open to correction, be open to a different perspective, because you may think that you're on the right path. Just like Saul thought he was on the right path when he was crucifying
yeah, good point.
all of the Christians and the followers of the way, but then he realized he was not. So just be open to...
Shout out to the youth ministry, because they're going through Acts.
Acts of the Apostles. Let's get it.
Awesome. I like that. My final thought. Remember the source. I think a lot of what we talked about today was our limitations on where things are good, but also can have problems. And a lot of those things can be worked on when you remember why you're doing it. And you don't get caught up on fading into fame for it. You don't get caught up into what's keeping people, or what do I need to keep people, or you get caught up with the fact of the access of everything is giving you everything to access, and where that can be problematic. So whatever you're doing, because we do agree that technology, all these things can be helpful, not all necessary, but can be helpful, beneficial, and helps. It helps, whatever. But just remember who you're doing it for and why you're doing it, and that'll help you keep that balance, keep that limitation where you don't drift off too far from going away from what's the focus of what we're doing here, being the church.
Bars. Love it. Close us out. What's your saying? Be...
Oh! As always, guys, be biblical, be physical, be intentional, be easy.
Shalom.
When you turn Jewish.
Peace.
You just wanted something.
No, because we used to say peace, and I was like, I should start saying shalom. But,